the Department of Teachers Education, and for today's Viscan Lab, we are going to interview 4 random students about learner-centered psychological principles.
So what does LCPP means?
So learner-centered psychological principles can be categorized as follows. Number 1 is the cognitive and metacognitive factors. Number 2 is the motivational and affective.
And number 3 is the developmental and social, and lastly, the individual different factors. And it emphasizes active and effective nature of learning.
What are we waiting for? Arat na!
1 hour later.
Okay, so good afternoon, guys. We found in an interviewee named Leslie A. Durano, which is a PrEd student. Okay, so for the first question, Marjorie, please.
Why do we need to know learner-centered psychological principles?
The learner-centered psychological principle influences the teaching and learning process. If we are aware of this principles, we will be able to recognize the different factors that affect the teaching and learning process. And with this, we can identify which areas are their strengths and weaknesses, as well as the need to be improved. So the second question is, why is it important for teachers to understand what is learner-centered psychological principles for school reform? As a future educator, it is important to know the learner-centered psychological approach to be able to, again, recognize different factors of the students for you to identify their strengths and weaknesses, and also to find solutions, especially with how diverse a classroom is. Knowing their differences, their strengths and weaknesses is crucial for a teacher, so it is really important. Okay, so last question. Do you know any examples where there is an application of LCPP? First, the dialogical approach that opposes the banting method that treats learning as a one-way conversation. The reason why students cannot think for themselves because they are not used to reacting or thinking critically, but only listening and memorizing the information as it is. Thank you very much.
So good afternoon, sir. So naaday ko karon para mag-interview sa inyo ha. So may I know your name, course, and year?
So I am Jack Alberto Mabang, Bachelor of Physical Education 3.
So I have a question here, sir. So why do we need to know learner-centered psychological principles?
So it is important to understand learner-centered psychological principle in order for us future teachers to have a better connection within the students. So kay naandan man nga sa teacher-centered kay more on teachers lang mag-spoon feed sa information. So dapat ma-learn tao learner-centered kay dapat na ay usa sa principle sa learner-centered is interaction between students man, di lang kay sila di lang ka puro teacher lang, dapat lagi pa interaction. So una importante ang maka-learner-centered psychological principle.
So ikaduha nga question lang, sir, is why is it important for teachers to understand what's learner-centered psychological principles for school reform?
So importante siya kay aron organize ang imong pag-deliver sa imong klase. So if naa kay basis kuan sa imong future nga mga imong klase, so sa imong kuan na kay guide kung saan yung pagdala sa imong students kay nakasabot maka sa unsay paagi sa learner-centered.
So do you know some examples where there is an application of LCPP?
So sa base ako ang experience, so ako ang paagi sa kanang mag-report ko kay mo interact ko sa students sa akong mga classmates or kan, pero sa ako ang naagian sa klase, so more on kanang dili lang kay more on teacher na ba kanang na ay ang example ni mangutan na ang teacher example sa traditional dance, mangutan na siya kay ba mo sa mga traditional dance sa Philippines. So dili ang teacher ang hatag example, ang students ang naibawaan sa students kung may sila klikling or karinyosa sila na dili ang sa kasagaran ang ato may example na sa teacher centered kay may siya kay do you know about the traditional dances in the Philippines? Here are some example traditional pa like ihat is confid na ba mo na sa teacher centered ang sa learner centered magud kay ang students ang imong pan pangutan-on niya sila mo hatag og answer.
So, mao lang to siya, sir. So, thank you kaayo.
So,
Hello guys!
Today we're going to interview someone named Ryan Elida who is taking PrEd Filipino. So, our first question is, why do we need to learn LCPP or learner-centered psychological principles?
Thank you for that question. I believe that the answer goes like that, and the question goes like that, and my answer goes like this. It is important for us to know the importance of having learner-centered psychological principles. It is because being a teacher needs to have a tough judgment on things. For example, for example, sa usa ka situation sa usa ka classroom nimo, it is important that to consider factors. For example, sa usa ka classroom, dili man tanan students kanang same of mindset. So we must be able to find the silver lining in that tough situations nga kasabot ta nga dili ang kanang tanan estudyante makasabot og same sila og kanang development or same sila og kanang range sa intellectual capacity. So as a teacher, it is important to know the ICPP. So the LCPP, in order for us to be an effective teacher, an effective facilitator in this classroom or in the classroom.
So the second question is, why is it important for teachers to understand what's learner-centered psychological principle for school reform?
Being the facilitator of a classroom or being a facilitator in a classroom, it is important to know that the LCPP, because in our daily lives we are bound to meet new people, new personalities of students, and it is important for the school reform para ma-apply kayo siya sa kanang curriculum, para ma-apply siya sa imong target or objectives per day kay lisod man og dili na nimo siya i-appeal kay every day naman kay certain challenges na ma-face. So one of the factors, what if one of the factors kay psychological, dili tanan estudyante makasabot. So one of your challenges to how to navigate yourself kung unsa na sila pag-treat. So it is important for a teacher to know kung unsa man niyang mitigation or unsa man niyang actions towards that certain problem, to that certain kanang area sa learning sa child.
So, Sir Elida, do you know some examples where the LCPP can be applied?
One of the factors that I remembered is, or pwede siya ma-apply sa usa ka classroom or na-apply sa usa ka classroom is the motivations kay sometimes we teachers kay natay mga lapses jud kanang, for example, maghatag ng mga activities na makapag-burden sa students, and one of the things that we must consider to it para ma-equal siya, ma-balance siya ang pagka-learning center sa teacher, we must always give motivations to those children, or if they galing maghatag-tag rewards, for example, chocolates, plus points, or any other materials na pwede na makahamper sa ilang kakulba, sa ilang ka-stress, sa imong gihatag ang activity.
That is for this video. Thank you, sir, and God bless.
What's up, guys? So we are up to our last interviewee for today. Okay, so your name please?
I am Jennifer Civiliano from PrEd Science.
Okay, Miss Jennifer, your first question goes like this. Why do we need to know the learner-centered psychological principles?
We need to know the learner-centered psychological principles in order to it is our guide on how we teach students toward learning, and it is also concerned on how we should approach them to develop their cognitive aspect.
So the second question is, why is it important for teachers to understand that learner-centered psychological principles for school reform?
So teachers should understand the LCPP or learner-centered psychological principle in order to provide interventions toward different issues about how should teachers include their instruction or curriculum to their class. And basically, teachers should know different ways on how to engage their students.
Can you give us examples of situations where there is an application of LCPP?
Okay, one of the example of the application of LCPP is the teacher should develop a collaborative learning where his or her students will engage in her class. Like for example, dapat himo sa rules niya for his kanang classroom management, dapat iyang i-consider iyang students para na sila communication sa students nila, like a teacher na communication sa students, and then para maka-form sila og respect sa ilang classroom.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Jennifer, for that fruitful interview.
God bless.
So Rex, what you have learned during our vlog?
During our vlog, I have learned and observed that we, as an interviewer, we need to have questions that easy, that the students may able to understand it directly, to have a concise and precise answer. So how about you?
Okay, for me, I learned a lot of things during our vlog. So that based on their answers, the teacher should motivate their students to participate and get involved in the discussion for them to share ideas, thoughts about the lesson they discuss.
So that's all for today's vlog, and that's what we have learned during our vlog. So goodbye.
So goodbye, everyone.
So that's all for today's video. Please don't forget to like,
Subscribe and hit the notification bell.
For more updates and more videos to come.
goodbye!
And it emphasizes active and effective nature of learning.
That's what we learned during our